this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, you're watching Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Septum Sin, this is Kotobuki J.
Hi.
And we're here to show you what they got.
And it's not Gundam.
No Gundam. Well, let's go ahead and show you that beautiful DVD footage right now.
Yes.
You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read. But I need some action, I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. That ain't no treat. It's full of action with an epic story. If you wanna read a book, go read a book. I will. If you wanna grind, Pro Skater will do. Like that too. I need an axe to hack and slash. 40 hours long, sounds like a job. You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read, but I need some action, I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. That ain't no treat. It's full of action with an epic story. Who's this girl? Her name is Mela. HP. She don't mean shit to me. 10 points. I don't mess with magic. I'm not the healing type. 40 hours long. Awesome, right? But I have a fucking job. Wait. You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read. But I need some action, I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. It's full of action with an epic story. Wait. 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 While I hit you. Wait. While I'm hit. Wait. While I hit you. Wait. While I'm hit. I've talked to the town, I've leveled up. I've seen what I need to see.
It was gorgeous, right?
So this is an RPG.
Yeah!
And my role is to read.
No!
You can play an RPG if you wanna read. I fucking love to read. But I need some action, I need something more. You can play an RPG if you want a treat. That ain't no treat. It's full of action with an epic story. Jordan, no. That shit's trash.
Alright,
And there was some good Blu-ray footage and some 4K, I believe.
lots of it.
Yes.
Well, we got a lot to do, so we're going to get up and we're going to start moving. I guess lead us all.
So I'm going to start off with one that was a surprise to me. I had never heard of this movie. I did not know it existed. I've been meaning to read the book. The brilliant author of A Man Called Ove, which was a phenomenal film, Frederick Bachman, also wrote a book called Britt-Marie Was Here. The movie was released to zero fanfare in September. I'd never heard of it until just a few minutes ago. It has a very weak rating on IMDb. This does not bode well for it, but it's a freaking Frederick Bachman film. I will watch it.
Well, one that I'm going to just go ahead and start with here is Beverly Hills Cop is getting a Blu-ray collection release, which is kind of cool.
3 films, I believe.
Yeah, all 3 films. And I have actually the 3 here. I have seen these at one point or another in my life, and the theme is probably one of the most memorable parts of it, because you've got Eddie Murphy and Judge Reinhold and their antics together.
And their antics.
And I really can't say much more. I mean, to me, I feel like it's good to have them in the collection, so if you want them, that's good. Whether they're needed to be on Blu-ray, to me, I don't really feel the need to upgrade. As you can see, this is still unwatched.
And that doesn't take up too much space.
Nope. Well, neither will the Blu-ray. So, actually, Blu-ray would take even less space up.
I was always underwhelmed by Beverly Hills Cop. It's not a bad movie. I don't understand the whole it's a comedy classic thing.
Though I do like the theme.
Yeah. I wonder if it's being released in as a promotion for My Name is Dolomite. Looks like Mr. Anderson might be in Dangerous Zone there. So, we have a cat playing with, putting his life in his paws, apparently. So, my next up is the week's Criterion release, actually. There is one. And it's a film that I've known of for some time, but I have never really prioritized it. Now I guess I'll have to. Marlon Brando film called The Fugitive Kind, from I believe 61, like early 60s thereabouts. His Streetcar Named Desire days, and from what I understand, I should enjoy it every bit as much. Ugh.
Hey, we may be revisiting Streetcar
We may be. But Brando, Joanne Woodward's in there. There's some good folks. I believe, did I not read correctly that it's a Sidney Lumet film? I believe it is. But definitely well worth a look. Criterion's putting it out. It will be on my list as a result. Maybe this summer. Who knows?
So, next up, Dragon Ball Super Part 10. It's the last part. So, if you want to finish the series, this is your chance. I will be finishing the series. It's probably one of the last bits of money I spent, matter of fact, and it will be mine. Oh yes, eventually.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, and then I'll be finished with that series. That'll be one more until Toriyama decides to do another one.
Right. I'm actually not presenting any anime this week, strangely enough. There are a few I was tempted by, like the Essentials release of Gamers, but the one I will be presenting is another film that's overdue for the Criterion release, in some people's estimation. The Richard Pryor comedy classic Brewster's Millions. I love this film. It's one I grew up with. I've seen it a few times. It's probably been 5 years since I've seen it. I think I have it on DVD, so I don't really... But this may or may not be its first time on Blu-ray. I don't know.
I don't recall it ever being on Blu-ray.
But I'm surprised you never saw it, because I'm wanting to say that was a John Candy role. Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of them from that age, but a lot of the Richard Pryor ones, but usually the ones where he teams up with Gene Wilder. Yeah.
Well, in this one, basically, he plays an average working stiff who has an unknown uncle that he didn't know he had, and said relative passes away, and he is given everything with a strong stipulation. and I don't remember the exact stipulation, but I believe that he has to spend, it's either $1 million or some higher figure. I think it's $1 million. It's something like he has to spend $1 million in a month. Something like that. And he's like, if you can do this, you can keep it all. But it's easier said than done. He's like, you can't just give it away. No writing it off to charity. You have to spend it. So, and then, of course, hilarious 80s comedy ensues.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's nice, good, old-timey Richard Pryor family fun. You know, he did do some of that.
Yeah, lots of them.
Yes. So, if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. You should check it out. Like I said, it looks like a basic Blu-ray release of.
Yeah.
I'm half serious. Maybe not Criterion, but I'd love to see a Shout release of it. That would be
mind
cool.
a good Richard Pryor collection.
Right.
Or something like that.
That would be ideal for Shout.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, good Richard Pryor collection.
Yeah.
You could have all of the comedies, the cheesy ones that he did back in the day. And
then throw in his David Lynch movie for good measure.
Shoot, you could end it with Harlem Nights. That one deserves a good release.
Right.
So, speaking of stuff, well, you know, the live-action Disney remakes come in like 3 categories, really. Those that are shot for shot, the same as the animated.
Beauty and the Beast.
Those that are kind of in between, which a little bit of difference, but still shot-by-shot remakes.
Like Lion King.
Yeah. Or those that kind of go off in left field.
No, I'd say there's 4th. There's the semi-faithful remakes, which would be more like Aladdin.
Because I would think like a good example with one that would go off air, Dumbo.
Well, Dumbo follows the bones of the film. I think you're thinking of this as a left field one.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. I would separate those into...
But even this one follows the bare bones.
Very bare bones.
But it goes on to a different direction entirely.
Yes.
And of course, we're talking about the film Maleficent. But because I have this, and it was okay. It was not spectacular by any means, but it was alright. And they came out with the sequel, Mistress of Evil. I don't know whether it did that great or not. It's a Disney film, so it probably did okay.
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, I'm going to end up getting it mainly because it's a sequel to this. That's all I really know, and I don't really care.
Actually, that's a pretty good segue, because Angelina Jolie also comes in certain categories. She has her by-the-numbers performances, like Maleficent. She has her Oscar-worthy performances, like Girl Interrupted. And then she has her work behind the camera. As a producer, she was behind the release of Unbroken. And Unbroken, along with Jason Bourne and Neighbors 2, how's that for a movie night there? Something for everybody. Those 3 are getting re-releases this week on Blu-ray. No idea why. We see nothing special about these releases. They're just putting them back out there into the ether. If you've missed any of the 3, they're all good movies. They're all worth picking up. I need to get the late Neighbors movies myself. But not really sure why they're getting these releases. They're just there.
Yeah, I need to get the Bourne... Gosh, what was the one after Bourne Ultimatum? The one that's kind
Bourne
of...
Legacy?
Yeah, it's the one without Jason
Jeremy
Bourne,
Renner one. That's the only one I haven't seen.
And I need to get Jason Bourne. Those are the 2 I'm left getting. I'm kind of waiting until I can get a cheap Blu-ray, like, full set is what I want.
That'd be nice.
But I also want to check and see if they're going to stop making them or if they're going to continue. I think that Jason Bourne probably was the end, but you never know.
I think it was supposed to be the end for Matt Damon, but they'll probably continue the franchise.
Yeah. One that I really wanted to see in theaters, and he lucked out and got to see, but because he had so much he needed to cover, I'm covering it, is Harriet. Now, I will probably be getting this. If not now, it will be later, but not much later, because I want to see this. It is a kind of, action-adventure pick about Harriet Tubman. And we were so eager to see it in theaters, it fell flat. Was it? And you said it was a fairly decent film, right?
It was a pretty good film, and Cynthia Erivo does a very solid job as Harriet Tubman. There's good supporting role from Janelle Monáe and from some other folks, and the music is flippin' awesome. I mean, the music is phenomenal. And Erivo herself, she is a singer, and she has a voice. And she sings the theme song that's probably going to end up in the Oscar race, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. So, one that I wanted to see in theaters, and it just didn't happen, and you didn't, was Gemini Man. Gemini Man, of course, was a weird hybrid. I want to say, am I remembering correctly, that's Bruckheimer produced? It's Ang Lee directed and stars Will Smith, and it's an action sci-fi thriller, twisted thriller about a hitman whose clone is sent to kill him when he wants to retire. So Will Smith plays Will Smith, the hitman, and he also, in a CGI de-aged role, plays his younger clone. And so it's one of several films this year that played with de-aging technology, and supposedly between this one and The Irishman, they've largely nailed it. Yeah. Which kind of, I have to wonder about that, honestly. But I want to see it. Anything Ang Lee I want to see. And I'm curious because I believe Lee's previous action film was the one film that everyone hated and I loved, which was Hulk. So I'm curious to see if I'm the exception this time too.
I don't think it got... Did Gemini Man get any awards for the Golden Globes this year?
Well, it didn't get any Globe love, no. I don't think it's got much. From what I've heard, it may have a shot in visual effects, but that, yeah.
Well, another film that he has seen and I have not is the Disney live-action remake of Jungle Book. It's getting a 4K release, and from what I've heard, that is something that would be very worthy of the film.
Yes.
And many have said that this is probably one of the best of the Disney live-action, next to Lion King, which is by far the best of all of them.
I don't know who you're talking to. But I will say they probably used the same tech in both of them to make the animals do what they do.
So, I actually do have this, because it is an Oscar winner. And Lord help me if Lion King wins.
This one deserved the visual effects nod it got, yeah.
So, I will watch this eventually. It's got some good talent. It's got Bill Murray. Matter of fact, most of them have good talent in them. Many actually have said that Emma Watson's performance in Beauty and the Beast was far superior to the voice acting in the animated. So
I have not heard that comparison. But I will say, Emma Watson needs to be given more credit. And she might get more this year because of how good she is in Little Women. But, you know.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. But Jungle Book, one issue with the talent. I love Christopher Walken. Dude is a great actor, and he's a good voice actor, but he can't sing.
Well, actually, from what I had heard, they really didn't intend to make it a musical at all, but did that just to have him sing.
Now, Bill Murray doing the bare necessities actually turned out pretty good, you know, but... so...
I will let you go.
Yes. Several old films are getting re-released this week.
Ones you did not see in theaters.
No. These are before my time. And one of them that won 2 Oscars. I think it won Best Actress and adapted screenplay, and I think it was a nominee for Best Picture as the film A Room at the Top. I don't know this movie, but I know of it because it's a big Oscar winner.
Yeah.
I want to see it. It's on my long-term agenda as an Oscar collector. I will have to get it. It's getting a re-release this week. I don't know if it's a fancy release or not, but if you've not seen it, there you go.
I mean, as a collector of all the winners, it'll be on my list eventually, like all of them. There's still so many of them. It's I'm trying to keep up with the recent ones, and the fact that what is that one? The one that won, the only one that's not released on physical media.
That one
last year.
Was it last? It wasn't last year. It was the year before, the Icarus one, right?
Yeah, that one also still hasn't gotten released yet.
So last year, well, of course, Roma is coming out.
I was going to say,
Roma's
that's the only one I
out.
haven't gotten from the last year. And I got Icarus only because I have a screener copy.
So all the other Netflix ones that won, there weren't any, were there?
No.
Yeah, Buster Scruggs went home empty-handed.
Actually, Buster Scruggs, I have heard, is coming out eventually.
Yay!
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's still, I say next year, Criterion release of Buster Scruggs. That would be my favorite scenario.
It wouldn't surprise me. They tend to like to release Coen Brothers ones.
Well, they've only released 2. They need to step up their game.
So my last one is a Terry Pratchett one.
Yay!
And I don't know why I've been comparing Terry Pratchett with the Monty Python Gillian, but I keep thinking of him and all of the gaffes that he has made recently.
That looks like a Gilliam cover.
And so, I keep thinking about Terry Gilliam and all of the gaffes he has been making. Like, white people aren't as well treated as they should be on screen. And things like this. And I'm like, okay, this isn't 1980.
Gilliam is notoriously outspoken, and not always in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
But 2 films that were pretty cool, kind of TV films, were The Color of Magic and The Hogfather, released in a collection, which would be kind of cool to put them together. I have their releases here, and I've read both. I've read the source material, and it's kind of fun. Color of Magic is a slog, I'm going to tell you, but it has some cool concepts. I really agree with
Tim Curry and Sean Astin.
Yeah, and this is a fun film. This is much better than reading the book. But out of the trilogy, the second and third book for I think it's Rincewind. Yeah, Rincewind. Is actually, they're pretty darn good. That first one is a slog. Color Magic is a slog. But this, very fun, great for the holidays.
He showed it to me. It was good times. And speaking of good times, the last one we have was also an Oscar nominee, but I think it was just a nominee. It was a nominee for screenplay for its writer-director Preston Sturges. Speaking of the Coen brothers, Sturges is a huge hero of the Coens because he was a trailblazer. He's one of the first writer-directors in Hollywood. He also happened to be a master of the screwball comedy. And The Great McGinty is one of his better-known films. It's apparently a political satire, and I think it was his first film as director. So I must get this on principle. I'm disappointed it's not getting a Criterion release like a lot of his other films have gotten, but it will be one to get. And who knows, I may put it off and delay, and then Criterion will put it out, and then I'll have to get it.
So, of course, one thing I forgot to note before we stuff ran, some of you may have noticed that the last few slides were of food. And the reason why I did that is because the Rebel Gaming Club song was so good, it had only a little bit left on it, and I didn't want to leave it as blank space. So I filled it with an appetizer, a meal, and a dessert.
Oh, so from the slideshow at the beginning?
My 2018 vacation. So, it's something fun to go with the song because it's an awesome song and it needed to be heard to its conclusion.
Our song is an awesome song. Okay, we're good?
So this is good. So I guess that's it. Of course, hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe, of course. We're almost at 200, so hey, give us those extras. And of course, share.
Yes.
Because of course, sharing is caring.
Indeed.
And with that, we will see you on the next one.